Derek Wilson of Variom Racing here with Matt Lindle. Matt, it's been a few months since we've caught up with you, and your people have caught up with you. What have you been up to in the off season?
Much needed rest. A little bit of injury, recover. Had a little bit of a banged up knee from previous injury, and then a crash that I had at Unadilla last year, and hanging out with some friends and getting stuff ready for this season. Feeling all better now, getting some good training in finally, which is nice, and even getting a little bit of riding in, getting me excited.
So speaking of riding, you took to the Tri-City Motorcycle Club in Coal Valley, Illinois. They put on a frozen toe every year, which requires the ground to be frozen. Sounded like you guys had a really good time, and you went out there dominating fashion, as always. Priority, you had fun, and two, you went out there and took the win on that. Tell us about that event. I've been out there a couple times myself, sometimes in 12 inches of snow, but it's always a really good time.
Yeah, this year really was about as ideal as you could have it for a sport quad, I would say. Ground was definitely frozen. It was nice and chilly, but no snow on the ground. Worked out really well for a sport quad, and just I've actually never been there to race it before, so it was all new experience for me, but it was a lot of fun. Really nice to get out and put some laps in an actual race atmosphere. I mean, it's really laid back and kind of a fun thing, but just to go out and mess around with some buddies that I know here locally in the Quad Cities, and yeah, Coal Valley's it's a great place.
So, want to make mention you made 19 laps, which has never been done before. Well done on that. But let's make sure we mention Mike Stockfleet. Mike Stockfleet is a consistent IATV racer, come a long ways, and Mike went out there and took third in the AA class, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, he almost was able to hold me off. I lapped him once, and it was on the very last lap. He's a little bit upset about it, but and he must have been riding pretty darn good, because being short laps like that, usually lapping people is relatively quick. So he had to be riding pretty good, and I know when I came up on him he was, and it was neat to get out there and ride with some of those guys that I don't normally get a race with, because they're in the morning at the Iowa series, so I'm not on track with them, so it was fun.
Matt, you raced, let's see, you've been with Variom 3-4 years, something in that ballpark, and prior to that, you weren't necessarily racing with a group, because we do bring a group pretty much everywhere we go, and sounds like your group's going to get bigger this year. We'll get into that. But is it neat to have those teammates? I know at one point in time, you and Adam Weckel rode together during a race. Is it cool to have those people on the track and be able to recognize them and have a good time racing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even if people aren't all the same speed across the board on the team, we're all different levels, different experience levels, different skill levels, and everything. So we're not always running or racing together, but it's a lot of fun just to have them out there, either when you come up on them or they come up on you. I mean, it's nice to have those teammates out there and get a ride with them, race with them, almost every event around this area. Speaking
of events, everybody's kind of locked in their targets for the season, if you will. In Variom, the whole ideology is you're racing for a championship. Don't get me wrong. Going and racing other races of different series, those are great experiences. That's necessary, but we focus on a championship. And I know that's always been your goal since we met and been going through this together. What are the plans for this year, man? You had a heck of a run in XC2 last year and put it on the podium. XC1 had a heck of a run in the last race of the season. So what's the big plans?
Yeah, I considered decent results last year. I know a lot of people have told me otherwise, but that's kind of my feeling on it. I definitely had some sparks of excellence or good riding, I think, but overall I'm not at all pleased with it, but I'm happy. It was a great first year in the GNCC. It was a ton of fun. I learned so much running with running with those guys in new tracks and terrains and just traveling all around. I mean, it was an absolute blast. And I'm really, really looking forward to it again this year. I'm gonna stick with XC2. Hopefully chase that championship, be up there in the runnings at the end. That's my goal, number one priority. And then after that, I'm still gonna run all of the Iowa series in AA, and trying back up my championships in that series also. But the number one priority is going to be the GNCC. I'm going to try and take it really serious. Got some new builds in the works for it. Couple of new sponsors on board that I think are definitely going to help me out this year. And I'm going to put in a lot of work and try as hard as I can. That's my goal. Is GNCC XC2 championship and 8th overall in year-end points is probably my number one goal. Honestly, I'm really looking for those strong overall finishes at every race.
I think what's cool about that is you had some success in XC2 last year, and as you were saying, you know that you're right on the verge of that. And as Variom and those that we represent, and Matt and the people you represent, as far as your sponsors and your help, you're going to get great exposure this year. Because I know it's your expectation, and I think you've set the standard that the podiums for XC2 are the goal. Yeah,
that's the goal with any championship. Is you gotta be up front, racing and race out every time, and that's how you win championships is consistency. I'm gonna go for the win every race, but it's all about that consistency and being up front. And that's really what I'm looking for. I want to be on that podium at all 13 rounds. No excuses.
I'd really like to ask every single GNCC racer this question, but I don't have that opportunity, so I'll ask you. One of the GNCC races and locations, which one do you look forward to the most, Matt?
I have quite a few that I really like. Really, I enjoy all of them. They're just, the GNCC atmosphere is great. Just like any series, the atmosphere is always different depending on what series you're at. But I would have to, let's see, put me on the spot and pick a track. I am. Got to pick one. I really do like snowshoe. Snowshoe. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I really do just like the atmosphere around it and the just roughness and brutalness of the track. It's a neat event and a lot of fun to race. For those of you that may have never met Matt, Matt loves to grind. Would you agree with that, Matt? I mean, I think you and I have talked about just getting out of the comfort zone and getting into the grind, and maybe you're holding your breath through the whole thing, but you can look back and be like, man, that was awesome. Yeah, definitely. I'm all about that. The rougher, the nastier, the tougher mentally and physically it can get, the better I feel usually. Great. Well, I'm going to bring it up. Matt and I went to MMA practice the other day, and we worked some wrestling techniques. Now, we didn't go super, super hard. I'm really sore, but I'm not Matt Lindle in Matt Lindle's shape. And we kind of went through a little bit of a grind, and, Matt, I really appreciate you doing that. I think it's cool, and I think there is success to be found in unconventional training. How do you feel about the unconventional training? Do you think a lot of racers are trying to find something different, be unconventional? Honestly, I don't know, but I would assume that they don't stray too awful far from the normal methods of endurance training. But it was a lot of fun. I really wish that I could do it more, but I gotta stay smart. Gotta stick with the little bit safer training. Don't want to get myself injured or anything. It's definitely something I'm gonna look into in the future, though. That's great. So we're going into 2017, and you're going to focus on XC2 GNCC, looking for podiums every race. The Iowa Series, you'll be making as many of those as possible, and I know that you'll really dedicate to that series because the GNCC is a great series and the people environment. But the Iowa Series is also hands down one of the best in the land. Would you agree?
Yeah, no doubt whatsoever. The Iowa series is home. I mean, that's the home series. Those are the race family. I'm not going to miss any of them. I'll be at all 7. I'm not ready to give up that. That's for sure. I want to stick with all of those. They don't conflict too much. I'll be able to drive back. I think one overlaps with the GNCC, but I'll be able to drive back and race it on Sunday. So no question, I'll be there.
Awesome. That's also a testament to the Andy Kiner and his family. I want to mention his son is a wrestler who's pretty impressive, and I always think those two go well together. Some of our other racers going at it this year. There's a big opportunity, Matt, you and I have talked about this, for the WFO series here locally. The MXCs has dropped quads, which is very unfortunate. But it is what it is, which gives the opportunity to the WFO series, which really presents a good series here locally. That gives an opportunity for a younger racer to come out and be competitive. Matt, GNC is a different level. And there's a progression. There's definitely a progression. If we're working backwards, GNCC, IATV, HSS, the Iowa Series, somewhere in there is the MXWC, and there's a few others that I'm sure you're more aware about than I am.
Yeah, there definitely is a progression, and the WFO, the great series. I've ran many other events, but they are shorter. They're hour and 15-minute events, and then you got the Iowa locally, big quad turnouts. I think great competition. All through the classes in that, and they're full-length 2-hour endurance races, and then the GNCC is the best of the best in the nation in every class. Great series, all of them, I believe.
Yes, we want to make sure we plug WFO. You'll see some Variom racers out there this season. They're even working some youth quads. So we were just on the conversation of progression, which leads into talking about our youth riders. It's really, really neat. I'd like to say I saw it coming, but I never did. 3 phenomenal youth riders this season, and they're all going to be competitive at the top. And I'm not just saying that. We're not just saying that because they're with Variom. That's legitimate. These kids are going to be competing at the top. You want to make mention of those guys because they're pretty cool, man.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. It's one of the better parts of Variom, I believe, is having those kids on board and being able to work with them and talk with them. Kobe Neer, Carter Holder, and Cooper Hooks, all 3 of them, I think are definitely going to be contenders at the top of the ATV racing world at some point.
I don't want to share any secrets on their behalf, but I know, so I'll let everybody know. And Matt, I think you do know. I think the Holders will probably run a majority, if not all. They say majority, but I think that means all the GNCCs. And then Cooper Hooks and his dad Jason Hooks have dedicated the GNCC. So we were talking about riding with groups and having that group to show up with. Your group at that series is going to get bigger. And I think that's pretty neat. I think a lot of that is a test to you, Matt, because you went and did it, so Cooper's going to go do it. That should be neat to have those people there.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's really cool to see when you get to the track and see all these guys that are coming from this area, all of what I consider the Iowa race family that are making the trip, and it's really cool to see some of the youth on Variom making it to a majority, it sounds like, of the event. And I know that plenty of the others on Variom, Adam and Jamie Leckel, they'll make it to most likely 2 events, I would say. They always tend to make it to the 2 Indiana ones. I hope they do. I know Adam wants to ride along with me to some others and spectate at least. So I'm looking forward to that also.
The youth of the racing on Variom will certainly be top-notch. There's other big-time youth racing around town. Mackenzie Lieferman back in her junior dragster, and we will follow the youth drag racing scene around town. But big news, Matt, I don't know if you heard it. The World Series of Drag Races is coming back to Cordova, Illinois. That is great news.
Yeah, I did hear that. I'm glad to hear that, too. that's a big event, and Cordova needs it, wants it, and deserves it, I believe.
It's awesome that you're aware of even the other racing scenes here around. So progression on a big stage, GNCC big stage, Monster Jam is a big stage. I hope you've been catching some of these videos, Matt. I know you have, but progression. Miranda is progressing. I know this girl very well, obviously, and I'll be honest with you, she'll tell you she sucks at a lot of things she tries at first, but she progresses very quickly. And then it's almost like she reaches a point where there's been she's made one mistake, and she never repeats that one mistake. So as you progress through that, it's really coming to show.
Yeah, definitely. I have been watching them. Every one of the videos that's posted. I did miss the debut on Fox Sports 1, which is that's incredible. I mean, that's
next level.
You're on national television driving a freaking monster truck. I mean, there ain't really much more to say than that.
If you don't know, if you haven't seen the Triple Threat series on Monster Jam, please do. They've stepped it up to the next level. Not only is Miranda in the truck, she's also racing a quad and a side-by-side all in the same show. Pretty impressive. It's definitely next level Monster Jam stuff. Matt, I'm excited to see your next level. You're on the verge of it. Last year, earlier you said you weren't real happy with your season, or to some extent, but the truth is it was your first time at all those tracks. So progression since the moment we've met has been phenomenal. Please keep it up. This year you're going to have some new firepower with some new partners, and some of the same old partners. And when you keep those partners and sponsors, there's familiarity with the people you deal with the product, how it works, how you get it, who to call. Who are these people in the 2017 season?
Yeah, definitely. And I do believe firmly in sticking with sponsors, especially if it's working. There's no reason not to stick with them. And a lot of the guys that I've surrounded myself with in racing in general I truly believe in their products. I truly believe in what they stand for as a company or as a person. Variom being one of those. Definitely got to thank my family first, though. They're a big part of my racing from the get-go. They stand behind me. They help me out as much as possible. And then second to that is Bart Thomas at Shockworks. He's a huge help in everything, to motors, to setup, to just talking to him. I mean, he's been great. I mean, it's a relationship that we've had going for a few years now, and it just keeps getting better, and we're both learning from each other, and it's awesome. I'm very grateful for everything he does. And then also on top of that, I got a whole long list of people helping me out this year, but GBC has really believed in me, really stepped it up. Can't thank them enough. Great products, great company. Happy to work with them. Gold Speed and Hauser, they both have helped me out a lot. The Tri-State is helping out Variom, and me personally, Jason Hooks and Cooper Hooks, they're going to be going to the GNCCs. I'm really looking forward to that, and can't thank them enough. Moose Racing, their gear is awesome stuff. Big help this year. I know I said it, but these sponsors, a lot of them are stepping it up, and I really am grateful. I was just a kid with a dream wanting to race, never would have guessed that I'd be getting this kind of support from these companies. It's really neat. Let's see, who else I got to thank? Spider Graphics, Precision, B&R Motorsports. That's one of my new sponsors this year. I think will be a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
HMF exhaust, the tire spines with the white pollard. Got those installed there. They're looking to be some sweet run flat systems. Can't wait to try them out. Dirtworks, RJR, IMS, Glan Innovations, Rockwell Time, 100% goggles, Sunstar, chain and sprockets, UNI air filters, Custom Axis, EVS, Quad Tech, Riverside Restaurant here in Muscatine, where I'm from. Valentine Food Company helping me out, and any friends that have helped out. You, especially Derek, have been a big help in the last 2 years on behind.
Appreciate that, man.
Time.
I appreciate that, and we appreciate what you're doing. I want to say we appreciate as a team, as a race family, the support that you're getting from these sponsors, whether they're product or not product sponsors. So congratulations to you, Matt. Congratulations to them. We're all on board for a run. I'm glued to my phone when you're racing, and I get my own Go Fast on the modified this year, which progression, I practice what I preach, and it's all about progression this season as well. I feel like we're a front runner, and I don't say that cocky. I say that confidently. Going into the season, Matt, let's get it done and keep preparing. Appreciate you giving the time to tell all your people what you're doing. No major secrets, but lots of firepower this year.
Yeah, definitely. No secrets here. Just some good old hard work. Hopefully some good preparation and good results to come. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I want to get racing. I want to get riding. Like I said, I've gotten a little tease of it the last few weeks. I've gotten to ride about 3 times, and with the weather cooperating a little bit, and it's really getting me itching. I really want to get out there and race.
From all of us at Variom, the Variom Straight Track, which is our drag racing, the Variom Endurance, which is our ATV and dirt bike cross country, and Variom Slideways, which is the dirt track. Thank you, and we'll do this again very soon, Matt. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right, thank you.